Part 168. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1672. Xiaofang drove Zhang Xiangbei to New Haven, drove directly to Yale University, first went to the student office to register, and then went to Zhang Xiangbei's rented house. Fortunately, Xiaofang called her original landlord in New Haven from New York more than a month in advance. The landlord told her that the two tenants in the house where she lived had graduated this year and were now available, so Xiaofang took the house. The house was rented so that when they arrived in New Haven, they would be unhurried and feel like they were back at home, without even meeting the landlord or having to meet him. The Yale School of Economics, where Zhang Xiangbei studied, is one of the 12 residential colleges at Yale University. It has student dormitories, but Xiaofang believes that it is more convenient to rent them outside the school. The house they rented is very close to Yale University. It is on the third floor of a 5-story building on Humphrey Street. It takes less than 10 minutes to walk to Phelps Gate, the main entrance to Yale. The two of them went upstairs. Xiaofang was familiar with the way and walked to the door of the room. From under the doormat, she got the key that the landlord put there, opened the door, went in, and put down the things she brought. The house was a suite with 2 bedrooms and 1 living room. Xiaofang and Zhang Xiangbei said, "Bei, take a notebook and write it down to see what else you need. Let's go to Walmart." Zhang Xiangbei opened the refrigerator and took a look. It was empty. He sat down at the dining table, took out a notebook from his bag and started writing. While he was writing, Xiaofang was checking every room. She was here. "Having lived in this house for 2 years, I know very well what is missing in it." Xiaofang walked out of the room and saw Zhang Xiangbei standing in the living room waiting for her. Xiaofang asked, "Has it been written?" Zhang Xiangbei agreed. "Show me." Xiaofang said that Zhang Xiangbei handed her the notebook. Xiaofang looked at it and burst into laughter. "You just wrote down a refrigerator of food." Zhang Xiangbei scratched his head and said, "Yes, as long as there is food in the refrigerator, nothing else can be dealt with." Xiaofang smiled and said, "You have to live here for 4 years, are you prepared to deal with it for 4 years? Zhang Xiangbei shook his head and smiled. Xiaofang sat down and wrote in the notebook. After a while, 2 pages were filled. Then she stood up and said, "Let's go shopping." They went to Walmart, filled the trunk and back seat, and when they got in the car, it was already dinner time. Xiaofang did not drive the car directly home, but went to the Mia Sushi on Hoff Street, a few roads away from their home. Xiaofang and Zhang Xiangbei said that this place was rated as the best in the United States by a food magazine. Delicious sushi. The sushi restaurant was very small. When they walked in, the owner was an Asian. He came over immediately and greeted Xiaofang in Chinese. "Xiaofang, you haven't been here for a long time. How are you in New York?" Xiaofang said, "Yes, but I am going back to China soon." "China is great. Now everyone is running to China," said the shop owner. Xiaofang introduced them to each other. She told the store owner, "This is my nephew, a freshman in the School of Economics. Please take good care of him in the future." The shop owner smiled and said, "Of course, they are all Chinese." Xiaofang and Zhang Xiangbei said that the boss also graduated from Yale. The boss said to Zhang Xiangbei, "Your aunt and I graduated in the same year, but she is a graduate student and I am an undergraduate." After finding a seat and sitting down, Xiaofang and Zhang Xiangbei said that in fact, the boss can only be considered half Chinese. This store was first opened by his mother. His mother is Japanese and his father is Chinese. In recent years, Yale University in China, as the number of students increased, the boss liked to call himself Chinese when he saw Chinese students. Xiaofang ordered scallop jacket and column sushi, as well as salmon roe sushi. Xiaofang and Zhang Xiangbei said that the scallops they had here were all flown in from Hokkaido and were particularly delicious. Zhang Xiangbei tasted each one. It was fishy and not very delicious, but he was embarrassed to say it. When their signature dish, scallop tempura, came, Zhang Xiangbei became more and more confused as he ate. Explain. Isn't this just scallop meat? Xiao Fang laughed and said, if you have knowledge, it's just a scallop. Zhang Xiangbei muttered, there are so many flowers. Scallops, 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 and scallops are not all the same thing. Xiao Fang said yes. When we arrived in Hawaii, they were still called Hawaiian clams. Many things would have different values if they were renamed. In the financial field, this kind of trick is played more often. You will know after reading the book for a year. Xiao Fang stayed in New Haven for 2 days and took Zhang Xiangbei around almost all of the small town. Before leaving, Xiao Fang asked Zhang Xiangbei, is it okay? Can you adapt? Zhang Xiangbei nodded and said yes. This time, they came in Zhang Xiangbei's car. Xiao Fang's own car was parked in the garage of her home in New York. Zhang Xiangbei would also use the car here, so they drove his car over. From New Haven to New York, you can take a train or a bus. Xiao Fang still likes to go to Union Station and take the bus to 42nd Street in New York. Xiao Fang and Zhang Xiangbei said, while you are here, you can study with peace of mind and don't run around. After I return to New York, I will return to China after finishing the matters in the company. However, I will still come to the United States and New York frequently. When? Zhang Xiangbei kept nodding. This time it was really time to say goodbye. When they walked to the door, Xiao Fang and Zhang Xiangbei said, Bai Bei, come here, give me a hug. Let's say goodbye here. You don't have to see me off. Xiao Fang was worried that when they arrived at the station, the two of them would cry again. Zhang Xiangbei didn't answer. Xiao Fang hugged him and told him, if you have anything at school, just call me. I can go directly to the principal and your dean. Zhang Xiangbei said yes. Also, don't get into trouble with people. New Haven is one of the areas with a high incidence of shooting cases in the United States. People are outside and it's okay to suffer some losses. Don't show off, okay? Zhang Xiangbei said yes. If she kept talking, Xiao Fang felt that she was about to cry. She quickly said, Auntie is gone, please don't send Bai Bei away. She turned around and opened the door and went out. When she reached the street below, she took a deep breath and looked up again upstairs. Then she walked forward, planning to walk to the gate of Yale University and take bus number 212 to Union Station. When the bus started to move, Xiao Fang looked outside and felt a shiver in her heart. She saw Zhang Xiangbei following him secretly, hiding in a doorway and looking towards the bus. Xiao Fang quickly turned her attention to the bus. Here, she was afraid of meeting Zhang Xiangbei's eyes. The car drove to the corner and turned around. Xiao Fang leaned her head against the car window glass and couldn't help but shed tears. Xiao Fang said to Xiao Zhao in her heart, Sister, I sent Bai Bei to Yale. Zhang Chen received a call from Xiao Fang and told him that arrangements had been made for Zhang Xiangbei at Yale and that she might return to China earlier than originally planned in September. Zhang Chen said yes, give me a call when you arrive and I will come to Shanghai to pick you up. Xiao Fang nodded and said, Brother-in-law, I'll tell my parents when I return to Hangzhou. I'm worried. Are you worried that they will come to Shanghai to pick you up? Zhang Chen said with a smile. I'm worried that even Xiaoshu will no longer be safe, and they will urge them to come to Shanghai. Xiao Fang said, I might as well not even tell Xiaoshu. Zhang Chen said yes, it would be nice to give them a surprise. On the day Xiao Fang came back, Zhang Chen went to Shanghai Pudong Airport to pick her up. After picking her up, Zhang Chen asked, go and see your house first, and then return to Hangzhou. Xiao Fang originally wanted to say no, just go back to Hangzhou, but thinking that this house was Zhang Chen and Xiaoshu's wish, she couldn't spoil their interest, so Xiao Fang said okay, let's go take a look. They arrived at Century Fairview and opened the door. Xiaofang couldn't help but let out an ah sound. She looked around. She couldn't explain why, but there was always a feeling of déjà vu. The decoration of the house, the furniture and furnishings inside seemed to be familiar. There was a kind of concentration that made her sit on the plane for more than 10 hours, and her dizzy head suddenly sobered up. At the same time, my mind seemed to be beginning to settle down, and I felt like I was at home. "Do you like it?" Zhang Chen asked. Xiaofang nodded and finally said, "Thank you, brother-in-law, oh, and thank you Xiaoshu." Zhang Chen handed the bunch of door keys to Xiaofang, as well as the 3 access cards, and asked her to keep them. Xiaofang took off a key and handed it back to Zhang Chen together with an access card, and said to him, "Brother-in-law, when you come to Shanghai, you can come back directly by yourself." Zhang Chen quickly said, No, I can just stay in the hotel." "Why, isn't this your home too?" Xiaofang looked at him and asked, "Or is there no room for you to live in here?" "There is a home here, and you still want to stay in a hotel?" Zhang Chen was left speechless by Xiaofang's question. He couldn't say what he wanted to say. Talking too much made him look stingy. He could only accept the key and access card. Xiaofang went upstairs and downstairs, looking from room to room. Zhang Chen sat down on the sofa, took out his cell phone and called Xiaomi. When Xiaofang came down from upstairs, Zhang Chen said to Xiaofang, "Give Xiaomi a copy of your ID card, passport, and US driver's license later. She will help you make an appointment for the physical examination and test. The test will be subject 1, which is the theory test. After the test, you can get your domestic driver's license." Xiaofang said yes. Also, Shanghai now requires a lottery to buy a car. However, Xiaomi has already bought a license plate for you. When you come back from Hangzhou, you can just buy a car directly, Zhang Chen said to Xiaofang, and Xiaofang nodded. The two went downstairs. Zhang Chen drove to Jinmao Tower. Xiaomi was waiting for them at the gate. Xiaofang gave Xiaomi a copy of her ID card, passport, and American driver's license. Xiaomi asked, "Do you have any photos?" "I will ask someone to prepare the physical examination form directly. Then you will not need to have a physical examination, you can just take the test directly." Xiaofang found the photo and gave it to Xiaomi. Xiaomi handed Xiaofang a motor vehicle driver subject 1 theory study material and told her that the passing score was 90 points. "If she was not sure by then, I would just let someone take the test for you." Xiaofang was surprised and asked, "Is this okay?" Okay, just say ouch." After saying that, Xiaomi laughed, "I forgot, it doesn't matter if you take the exam." Xiaofang quickly said thank you. They wanted to go on their way, so they didn't go upstairs and just turned around and left. Xiaofang sat in the passenger seat and burst into laughter. Zhang Chen turned to look at her and asked, "Why are you laughing? It's better to be in China. You can take shortcuts and open back doors to everything." "I'm not used to it at all," Xiaofang said with a smile. Zhang Chen said, "You don't know that there is a saying that holds the front door tightly, and encourages everyone to use the back door?" Xiaofang nodded and said, "Yeah, I learned it. It seems that I want to follow the locals as soon as possible. By the way, brother-in-law, this Xiaomi seems to have a lot of energy." "It's not that she has great energy, it's the husbands of our members who do everything. This network of connections is very powerful," Zhang Chen said. "By the way, when you need to apply for a license and so on, let Xiaomi help you." Xiaofang said yes. When we were almost driving to Songjiang, Xiaofang said, "Brother-in-law, I want to go to the logistics base to visit." "Aren't you tired?" Zhang Chen asked. Xiaofang shook her head and said she was not tired. Zhang Chen agreed, "Then we will go to the logistics base for lunch. I originally wanted to rush to the Xiaoshaxia Expressway and go to Tuxianjiayuan. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Wei Wuxuan, Hydrogen Oxide Disinfection Knowledge Bureau, Lu, Tai Zijhan, Dao Duweng, Chuan Lin, and Book Friends 201809062232049344 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1673. Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang got off the expressway in Songjiang. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Fang, should we go to see the new base first, or go to the old base for dinner? Xiao Fang said, let's go to the new base first. They passed through the culvert under the Shanghai-Hangzhou Expressway, reached the other side of the highway, and drove to the new base. More than half of the houses here have been built, and the construction that is still continuing is the pouring of the base road and parking lot, as well as the most labor-intensive part of the cold storage. Xiao Fang looked at it and exclaimed, so big. Zhang Chen said, except for Shanghai Port and Yangshan Port, this is currently the largest logistics space in Shanghai that is open to the public. But it's not surprising when you think about it. The population of Shanghai is more than 10 million more than that of New York. The city's daily consumption is staggering, Xiao Fang said. By the way, brother-in-law, are other cities this big? Zhang Chen said, yes, almost. Shanghai is not the largest. Just like here, our other cities are also the largest local logistics spaces. It should be said that the timing of our entry is very good. Now local governments are, to rectify the dirty and messy areas around the city, railway and highway stations, wholesale markets and logistics spaces will bear the brunt. Stations that can be relocated are basically being relocated. The impact on the wholesale market is not that big. With the launch of Debo.com, the wholesale market business is not as prosperous as before. If it can be banned, some places have begun to ban it. Logistics: the base is also a dirty and messy node, but it is indispensable to the city and there is no way to clear it all. After our project is settled, they will have the conditions to clean up those small-scale logistics spaces. This will free up more real estate land, right? Xiao Fang asked. Zhang Chen is right. In fact, there is another reason for this, that is, in many cities, Zhang Chen and the others obtained land that was transferred from the military to civilians. These lands are not in the hands of local governments. The entry of Zhang Chen and their projects is equivalent to what Xiao Fang said has freed up a lot of real estate land for local governments. How could they not welcome it? It's a really good project, but unfortunately, brother-in-law, you are unwilling to accept my client's funds, Xiao Fang said. Zhang Chen looked at her and was about to say something when Xiao Fang smiled and said, I know, you don't want to feel pressure. Zhang Chen laughed. While the two were talking, they saw a person walking towards them in the distance. From the way he walked, Zhang Chen could tell that it was brother Lao Tan. Zhang Chen shouted, brother, why are you here? Lao Tan squinted his eyes, covered his eyebrows with his hands, and looked towards them. As he walked, he said, in the cold storage, asphalt will be poured today. I'll come over and take a look. Xiao Fang then called out, brother. Lao Tan responded casually, then got closer and saw clearly, and shouted, oh, Xiao Fang. I couldn't guess who it was, but I didn't expect it to be you. When did you come back? I just arrived in the morning. On my way back to Hangzhou, I wanted to come here and have a look, Xiao Fang said. You don't know until you look at it. When you look at it, you are really shocked. It is really a big project. Lao Tan nodded and said yes, but, you haven't seen that e-commerce industrial park, that's scary. Not to mention other people, even the construction companies, said they had never seen such a large single building. Xiao Fang said okay, then I will go and have a look when I return to Hangzhou. The three of them walked and chatted, and took a half circle around the base. 20 minutes passed. Lao Tan didn't even have lunch, so he went back to the old logistics base with them. When Xiaojun saw Xiao Fang, he screamed ah and ran over and hugged Xiao Fang. Lao Tan said beside him, "Don't just make noises, go to the cafeteria to make arrangements. We haven't eaten yet." Xiaojun responded with oh and went out. A few people finished their meal together in the cafeteria. Lao Tan wanted to stay here and would not return to Hangzhou until tomorrow. Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang left first. Lao Tan urged them to go quickly. The elderly people at home must be impatient. Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang both left. They did not tell Lao Tan, and he did not tell the elderly people at all that Xiao Fang was coming back today. The car got on the highway again. Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang said, "Can you call home now?" Xiao Fang tilted her head and said naughtily, "No." Zhang Chen said with a smile, "Okay, let's make a grand debut. You need to sleep for a while and catch up on the jet lag. When we get home later, I guess it won't be up to you." Xiao Fang said yes, put the seat back a little, and closed her eyes. Zhang Chen moved the car from the fast lane to the middle lane and slowed down. On the expressway with a speed limit of 120 yards, he drove forward smoothly at a speed of 100 yards. Xiao Fang snored slightly. Zhang Chen turned around and looked, and his heart suddenly tightened. Xiao Fang looked more like Xiao Zhao when he was sleeping. Zhang Chen's eyes were a little blurry. He shook his head, then shook his head. After driving to the parking lot of Splendid Home, Xiao Fang still hadn't woken up. Zhang Chen parked the car there without getting out of the car or waking up Xiao Fang. After more than 10 minutes, Xiao Fang slowly opened her eyes, then immediately sat up straight and asked, "We're already here, brother-in-law, why don't you wake me up?" Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Let you sleep a little longer." The two got off the car. Zhang Chen was about to get the suitcase in the trunk. There was a large suitcase that had been placed in the Century Jingxiu house in Shanghai. Xiao Fang said that the suitcase was basically filled with books and materials, which he would only use when going to work. Used, there is also a large suitcase in the trunk. Xiao Fang and Zhang Chen said, "Brother-in-law, can you come back later to get it? I want to see my sister first. I dreamed about her on the plane back and in the car ahead." Zhang Chen said yes. The two of them went upstairs and entered the room. Xiao Fang ran to Zhang Chen's bedroom, closed the door, and Zhang Chen walked to the sofa in the living room and sat down. Xiao Fang put her hand on Xiao Zhao's urn and called sister. Tears rolled down her face. Xiao Fang continued to murmur, "Sister, I haven't seen you for 2 years. How are you? I really miss you." Xiao Fang started to cry. I don't know how long she cried. Xiao Fang gradually calmed down. She looked at her watch and saw that it was already past 4 in the afternoon. At this time, it was still dark in New Haven. However, Xiao Fang still picked up the phone and dialed. Past Zhang Xiangbei. When the phone was picked up, Xiao Fang said, "Bai Bei, we are already home. I am with your mother now. Come on, Bai Bei, tell your mother whether you are in New Haven or not." On the other end of the phone, Zhang Xiangbei said angrily, "Mom, I'm fine here. Don't worry." Zhang Chen was sitting there smoking a cigarette. The bedroom door opened and Xiao Fang stood in the door. Her eyes were still a little red and swollen. She said to Zhang Chen, "Brother-in-law, my sister is with me these 2 days, okay?" Zhang Chen nodded. Xiao Fang smiled, turned around, picked up Xiao Zhao's urn, and walked to her room. Zhang Chen also stood up, walked into the bedroom, and picked up Xiao Zhao's urn on the bedside table. The portrait followed. Seeing Xiao Zhao again, the two of them walked downstairs. Zhang Chen hesitated for a moment and said to Xiao Fang, "I'll help you get your luggage." Xiao Fang stared at him for a while, understood, and asked, "Brother-in-law, are you afraid of going back?" Zhang Chen said with a grimace, a little bit. If I show up suddenly like this, I will definitely be surrounded by them. Xiao Fang chuckled, okay, I'll take the lead first. The two of them separated, one walked inside to Zhang Chen's parents' home, and the other walked outside towards the parking lot. Zhang Chen pushed the suitcase and walked to his parents' house. The door to the room was closed. Zhang Chen picked up the suitcase, walked up the steps, and opened the door. The air conditioning and laughter hit his face together. As soon as Zhang Chen walked in, his mother immediately came over to accuse him, shouting, Chen, is it you? I knew it was you who came up with the bad idea and didn't tell us that Xiao Fang was coming back today. Before Zhang Chen could speak, Xiao Fang quickly came over and helped Zhang Chen out. No, auntie, I didn't let my brother-in-law tell you. Zhang Chen's mother waved her hand and said, Xiao Fang, don't speak for him. It must be him. He will come up with such bad ideas. When Bei returned to the United States last month, he didn't want us to see him off at the Shanghai airport. Zhang Chen smiled and said, okay, I'm guilty, but why don't I come back like this and give you a surprise? It's not a surprise, it's just a shock. We were unprepared and we didn't have anything delicious at home, Zhang Chen's mother scolded. Zhang Chenxin believed it to be true and thought to himself that he had been eating out all the time. There were only 4 of them at home and there might not be anything to eat, so he would go to the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel for dinner. He walked over and opened the refrigerator to take a look, only to see that the freezers were filled to the brim. Zhang Chen shouted, oh my god, there's such a refrigerator, and you still say there's nothing to eat? What do you know? There is nothing Xiao Fang likes to eat, Zhang Chen's mother said, and she shouted, oh. Everyone didn't know what was going on. Looking at her, Zhang Chen's mother waved to Xiao Zhao's mother and shouted, it's almost 5 o'clock, and we are not prepared at all. Zhang Chenzhen was hesitating to tell them whether to go to Tuxianjiayuan to eat. He knew that if he said this, his mother would scold him again, so he might as well shut up. Xiao Zhao's mother had already walked over. The 2 old ladies, like 2 miners, were surrounding the refrigerator, digging something out. After a while, they had dug out a lot. Xiao Zhao's mother turned to Xiao Zhao's father and said, you call Xiao Shu and ask them to come over for dinner. After a while, Xiaoshu came over and stood there, watching Xiao Fang laughing non-stop. Xiao Fang asked, why are you giggling? Xiaoshu still smiled, I'm not laughing at anything. After a while, Yao Fen came with their son in his arms, and Tan Shuhen followed. When she saw Zhang Chen, she glared at him and said, do you think I wouldn't know to come if you didn't call me? Zhang Chen's mother heard this and shouted, scold, Zhen, hurry up and scold him. I just finished scolding him, you continue to scold him. Tan Shuhen opened her mouth, but she didn't know what to curse. Zhang Chen laughed. Over there, Xiao Fang had already picked up Xiaoshu's son and teased him, call aunt. Xiaoshu's son's name was Xiaoko, after Xiaoshu. When Zhang Xiangbei heard it for the first time, he smiled crookedly. He said to Xiaoshu, Uncle Xiaoshu, why do you keep shouting smaller and smaller? If so, what will Xiaoko's children be called in the future, grassroots? Little ants. Idiot, of course it's called Xiaomiao, Xiaoshu scolded. Thank you 116216.qdcn and Quadratic VC for the reward. Thank you for your monthly votes for Don't Be Too Serious, 55 Hong, Fan Pei's Journey to the West, Mao, Gongzimianzi, Frivolous, Latakan, and Book Friends 201705171725155577. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1674. Xiaofang followed Zhang Chen to see their logistics base in Hangzhou, which was under construction, and then to the Sky City e-commerce industrial park. The construction of the basement was ongoing on the construction site. Xiaofang looked at this, looking at the huge pit with no end in sight. He sighed. Brother Tan was right, it was indeed a huge project. Looking at the renderings again and listening to Zhang Chen slowly explaining the functional distribution and facilities on each floor of the park, Xiaofang said, "Brother-in-law, can you leave this unit of the business incubator to me?" Zhang Chen said, "Yes, what are you going to do?" "Set up a team to accept applications from all entrepreneurial teams. For any projects we think we can support, we will invest in early financial support, then help them with financing, and finally help them get listed on Nasdaq in the United States," Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen nodded and asked, "Is this what you want to do when you return to China?" "It's just one of them," Xiaofang said. "We also make long-term investments. Many companies do not only aim to go public, but focus on exploring the value of the company itself." The two people got in the car and walked towards the city. Zhang Chen asked Xiaofang while driving, "I hear what you mean, you are still looking for many companies in the country and then invest in them, right?" Xiaofang said yes. "Anyway, within 5 years, I will only have the pressure of investment, not the pressure of profit." "Then what kind of enterprise are you looking for? Do you have a direction?" Zhang Chen asked. "I have considered several directions. One is new energy. In fact, this is not correct. Solar energy and wind energy are not new. In the age of discovery and Zheng He's voyages to the west, they relied on wind energy. As for solar energy, the uncles in the countryside everyone has been using solar energy for a long time. They use the sun to dry pickles and bacon, etc. It should be said that what is new is the way of using energy. Whether oil, coal, or natural gas will be exhausted, electricity will not be exhausted. It is inexhaustible, and inexhaustible when there is no gas and coal-fired power generation as base load power. Nuclear power plants can be replaced, as can tidal power plants, wind power plants, solar power plants, etc. The light conversion rate of solar energy is currently only 20%, which is the highest in the world. As long as the light conversion rate is increased by 10% through technical means, solar energy can replace many other shortcomings. "Are you going to do solar energy?" Zhang Chen asked. "No," Xiaofang smiled, "I may have said too much. What I mean is that this characteristic of electricity is destined to make it our most basic and possibly the only energy demand in the future, whether it is home heating and cooking, as well as cars, will all turn to electricity. In the future, cars will basically be electric cars. Now Lexus has launched a gasoline-electric hybrid version. What I want to invest in is car batteries and power storage stations. The most troublesome thing about electricity is the uneven use and improper storage. It is the same in every city. A lot of electricity is used during the day. Many times, the electricity is still very tight, but when the time comes at night, a large amount of electricity generated by the power plant is wasted. The reason is very simple. The generator set of the power plant cannot be turned on during the day and turned off at night. We are now using the stupidest method to store electricity, which is to build an energy storage power station and find a mountain bay by the river. A dam can't run out of electricity at night. When electricity is cheap, water from the river is pumped in and the water is used to generate electricity during the day." Zhang Chen looked at Xiaofang, still full of doubts. Xiaofang smiled and said, "Don't get me wrong, brother-in-law, I don't want to build an energy storage power station, but I'm afraid I won't understand it if I don't say it that way." "I understand," Zhang Chen smiled. "If you don't make it clear, I will still be an idiot, especially in this regard." Xiaofang giggled and said, okay, what I want to invest in are two. One is a car battery, and the other is an energy storage station. Energy storage station? What is this? Zhang Chen asked. You can think of it as a larger battery, but it is a small house, Xiaofang said. For example, if you have such an energy storage station in your factory, you don't have to worry about power outages, and you can also reduce the energy consumption. Cost: this energy storage station, in the event of a power outage, you can use the power in the energy storage station instead of activating a backup generator. Also, if you want to save on electricity bills, you can fully charge the energy storage station at night when electricity is cheaper. During the day, you can use the electricity from your own energy storage station instead of city power supply. This is good, Zhang Chen shouted. If there is such an energy storage station, I will definitely build one. Yes, this is feasible, and the market prospects are great. In the future, every factory, community, hospital, large shopping mall, hotel, etc. will have this demand. From a large perspective, it also solves the problem of electricity usage. The problem of balance is that so much electricity generated by power plants will not be wasted. Can this be realized immediately? Zhang Chen asked. Theoretically it is feasible, and there are many teams working on this. I know a guy from MIT and a guy from Sweden. They are all experts in this field and are considered to be the most likely to make breakthroughs. They are all Chinese, and by the way, that guy from Sweden is from Yongcheng, Xiaofang said. Really? Zhang Chen said in surprise. Yes, that's right. They are planning to return to China to start a business and engage in research and industrial development in this area. I am ready to invest in their project, Xiaofang said. Not bad, Zhang Chen said, it sounds very promising. It has prospects, but there are many difficulties. I made bad plans, and the probability of success is about 10%, Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen was startled and shouted, isn't the risk very high? Xiaofang smiled and said, yes, so we are venture capital. In our industry, we need to broadcast seeds and invest in many projects or teams of this type at the same time. But out of 10, as long as 2 or 3 are successful, the return on our investment is huge. We cannot see the pie. What we can see is just the pie drawn for us one by one. But as long as your pie is drawn well and there is no problem, I will invest. The same is true for project incubators. You cannot pursue a high success rate. If that is the case, then you will not invest in any project. All realistic things are it started from whims and drawing cakes. It sounds a bit like gambling, Zhang Chen said. It's a bit like it, but not all of it, Xiaofang said. From my company's point of view, what I want to do is portfolio investment. That is to say, venture capital is only a part of all my investments. We will also invest in some projects that are not paintings. Pie projects, such as agriculture and breeding, are projects that humans have continued for thousands of years and are unlikely to be abandoned. Farmers are unwilling to farm or raise pigs because they have no money to make. If you still come to invest in this, will you make money? Zhang Chen asked. Yes, I will invest in companies like Yurun and Shuanghui, which are engaged in deep processing of agricultural products, Xiaofang said. I will help them expand their scale and go global. Such enterprises, as long as they are large enough, there will still be huge profits. Zhang Chen nodded. Xiaofang said, of course, I will also invest in industries that I know better, such as photoresist. What is this? Zhang Chen asked. Have you ever seen a circuit board? Xiaofang asked. I've seen it before. When I was a kid, I liked to take apart the radio at home and watch it, Zhang Chen said. Is there a layer of coating on the circuit board? Xiaofang continued to ask. Yes, there is a layer of paint or something like glue, and there is none on one side. It's the same on silicon wafers. The surface of the silicon wafer will also be coated with a layer of light-sensitive mixed liquid composed of photoinitiator, photoresist resin, monomer, solvent and other additives. This is after the photoresist dries, it will form a film on the surface of the silicon wafer. You will know this when you look at the chip. Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen nodded. The world's photoresist is now almost monopolized by Japan. It can also be said to be the only product that survived after the USS War of Annihilation of Japanese semiconductors. It didn't seem very impressive at the time, but when a country is obsessed with a thing, when there is a monopoly, disputes will begin. I think in the future, whether Japan is fighting a trade war with South Korea, a trade war with us, or a technological blockade, photoresist will be the weapon they will inevitably use. As far as our country is concerned, the demand for photoresist will also get bigger and bigger, Xiaofang said. By the way, Xiaofang, what did you mean by the semiconductor annihilation war and photoresist being the only surviving product? Aren't all chips from the United States? We all have an Intel sticker on our laptops. Trademark, Zhang Chen asked. That was now, but it was not like this before. In the 1980s, Japanese companies led by Toshiba Semiconductor surpassed the United States in all aspects. Companies such as Intel and AMD were forced to the brink of bankruptcy by the Japanese. Americans were frightened, and thinking that this would involve their national security, they began a two-pronged approach to suppress Japanese semiconductor companies. On the one hand, the United States forced Japan to sign the Japan-US Semiconductor Agreement, and then continued to conduct 301 investigations on Japanese companies. It did not allow Japan to develop high-tech industries, and forced Japan to transform and develop the raw materials and spare parts industries. It will always be a wage earner. On the other hand, the United States vigorously supported South Korea's Samsung Semiconductor and forced Toshiba Semiconductor to transfer technology to Samsung Semiconductor. Many of Toshiba Semiconductor's talents were also poached by the Koreans. At that time, the United States imposed a 100% tax on Japanese-related companies. The anti-dumping tax is only 0.74% on Korean companies. So, Toshiba Semiconductor and other companies were completely defeated, but photoresist companies such as JSR, Tokyo Onka, Shinetsu Chemical, and Fuji Electronic Materials were retained. I think this is also the wishful thinking of the Americans. We cannot allow one country to master all key technologies. Photoresist is the killer that restricts Samsung semiconductors. If necessary, the Americans will encourage Japan to use photoresist to suppress Samsung. In this way, do you know the value of photoresist? When the Americans want to suppress our country's chip companies, photoresist will still be one of his methods, and I judge that the market demand for photoresist will also become larger and larger. After Xiaofang finished speaking, Zhang Chen sighed with emotion. You really don't know if you don't tell me, but once you tell me, there are still twists and turns and stories. There are still bitterness and tears, Xiaofang said. The relationship between the country and the country, the company and the company, and the relationship between people are the same. The boss is always worried that the people below will replace him, and the people below will replace him. Even though he is being oppressed by the boss, he is still engaging in intrigues. Thank you for the rewards of Quadratic VC, 1 up and 2 fishes, 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, Baby Tin Soldier, third from top to bottom, and reading books every day. Thank you Guandian Electrical and Mechanical, Mumwu, Wonkingsi, PCM 600812, Chen ETAL 184, Wei Wuxuan for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1675. Xiaofang stayed in Hangzhou for 3 days. Xiaomi called her and told her that arrangements have been made at the vehicle management office for the exam at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Xiaofang, can you make it in time? If not, I will ask someone to do it. Take the exam for you. Xiaofang smiled and said, come on, I'm coming to Shanghai this afternoon. I haven't cheated on the exam yet, and I don't want to break this record. Putting down the phone, Zhang Chen asked Xiao Fang, I haven't seen you read the book, is that okay? China's traffic regulations are different from those in the United States. Okay, I'll take the high-speed rail in the afternoon and just read the book on the high-speed rail, Xiao Fang said. Also, brother-in-law, I'm going to go this time to finish the company's affairs and recruit a few more necessary ones. I want to interview them this weekend, so I won't go back to Hangzhou. Zhang Chen said yes, the company's matters are important, and I should have accompanied you. This evening, Lu Qing and the others will come to Hangzhou. Zhang Chen can't leave yet. He arranges for Xiao Sheng to see Xiao Fang off, but Xiao Fang also refuses. No, won't Xiaomi help me? Xiao Fang said quickly, I'm also close to her. I've also thought about the company's address. I'm going to put it in the Jinmao Tower or the World Financial Center next to it. Specific details. We'll talk about it later when the time comes. The office doesn't need decoration, Zhang Chen asked. If necessary, my brother-in-law will help me come up with a plan when the time comes, Xiao Fang said. Zhang Chen said yes, but he felt strange. You haven't even finished decorating the office, and you've already started recruiting people. You don't have to work in an office, just find a place to drink coffee, Xiao Fang said, and in the beginning, I may take them around the country to recruit people, and I will take advantage of this opportunity. Over a period of time, we have a process of understanding and adapting to each other at work, and time waits for no one. If you go to a city with our branch, call me, Zhang Chen said, I will ask them to pick you up. Also, they can provide vehicles and other things for you to use, which will be more convenient. Xiao Fang said yes, by the way, brother-in-law, you Nanjing, forget it, I'll call Sister Qian Fang myself and ask. What happened to Nanjing? Zhang Chen asked. I want to visit Yurun Group. It would be best to meet their boss directly, Xiao Fang said. Zhang Chen smiled and said, Qian Fang may not know the boss of Yurun Group, but Li Yang must be related. I will call you now. Zhang Chen picked up the phone and called Li Yang to ask him if he had anything to do with Yurun Group. Where's Lao Zhu? What's going on with his vice president, my brother? Li Yang asked. Zhang Chen and Li Yang said that when Xiao Zhao's sister Xiao Fang came to Nanjing, she wanted to meet their boss and learn something about the situation. No matter how important it is, I can just take it to Lao Zhu's office, or ask him to have dinner with me, Li Yang said. When will Xiao Fang come? Ask her to call me and I will pick her up. Zhang Chen said thank you. After putting down the phone, Zhang Chen gave Li Yang's number to Xiao Fang and told her that if you still want to know more about Yurun's situation, ask Li Yang to help you. He is from Nanjing. Xiao Fang smiled and said, okay. In the afternoon, Zhang Chen sent Xiao Fang to Chengzhan railway station to take the high-speed train. Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang said that after Lu Qing and the others left, I would come to Shanghai. Xiao Fang nodded. When Xiao Fang got on the high-speed train, she took out the motor vehicle driver subject 1 theory study material and started reading it. When she got off the train, she left the book on her seat. She felt that she would no longer need it. Leave it here, maybe someone will want to see it. When the bus arrived in Shanghai, it no longer stopped at Shanghai South Railway Station, but at the Hongqiao hub that had just been put into use before last year's World Expo. This surprised Xiao Fang and felt a bit pleasant. Xiao Fang did not ask Xiaomi to pick her up at the station. Instead, she took a taxi and went to Century Fairview. She made an appointment with Xiaomi to meet at the financial building the next morning. Xiaomi accompanied her to find the new company's office. In the afternoon, she dropped off Xiao Fang went to take the exam. Lu Yun walked to the elevator hall of Jinmao Tower, was stunned for a moment, and stopped. She saw a person standing there waiting for the elevator. He looked familiar. After taking a closer look, she concluded that he was not the same person. He was too young. Lu Yun then walked over and stood next to her. Sure enough, the woman turned her head and glanced at her, then continued to turn to the elevator. Lu Yun breathed a sigh of relief. The time after 9:30 is the busiest time for everyone in the office. It is too early for visiting guests, so there are not many people waiting for the elevator here. The elevators of Jinmao Tower are also very busy. On each floor, there were only her and the woman in front of Lu Yun's elevator. The elevator arrived and the two people walked in. Lu Yun reached out and was about to press the button, but she didn't expect that the woman had already pressed it, and she happened to be on the same floor. Lu Yun took a step back and looked at her profile blankly, thinking, this is too similar. The woman also noticed Lu Yun looking at her. She turned her head and smiled at Lu Yun. Lu Yun couldn't bear it any longer and said, I'm sorry to bother you, but do you know someone named Xiao Zhao? That's my sister, my name is Xiao Fang. Xiao Fang was startled, turned around and looked at Lu Yun, and asked, do you know my sister? Lu Yun nodded, yes, I also knew your brother-in-law Zhang Chen, but that was a long time ago. We were still in Hainan at that time. How are they now? Xiao Fang lowered her eyes and said, my sister is no longer here. Lu Yun didn't understand and didn't think in that direction, so she asked, what do you mean you're gone? My sister has passed away, Xiao Fang whispered. Ah, Lu Yun was shocked and said quickly, how could this happen? When did this happen? I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Xiao Fang shook her head and said, it doesn't matter, it's been a long time. We have all accepted this fact. What happened during the SARS year was because of my sister. Lu Yun understood, her face suddenly turned pale, her eyes were red, and she murmured, it's really unexpected, Xiao Zhao, Xiao Zhao. The elevator door opened and they arrived. The two of them couldn't turn their heads for a moment. When the elevator door was about to close, Xiao Fang came to her senses and reached out to press the door open button. The two people walked out and stood in the elevator hall outside. Lu Yun stretched out her hand to Xiao Fang and said to her, my name is Lu Yun. My company is here. Can you please come and sit in my office? I want to have a good chat with you. This time it was Xiao Fang's turn to be surprised and asked, sister, are you Miss Lu? The one who leads the investment? Lu Yun nodded and said, yes, that's me. Sister is so young, I can't believe it, Xiao Fang said, I just came back from New York a few days ago, and I'm here to visit you today. I was introduced by a friend. Are you Chemistry Fang? Lu Yun asked. Xiao Fang nodded and both of them laughed. Lu Yun said, what is this? We must be old acquaintances, let's go quickly. Lu Yun reached out and took Xiao Fang's hand, and the two of them walked towards Lu Yun's office. Xiao Fang and Lu Yun said, my brother-in-law and his friends also have a company in this building. Lu Yun almost said that I know, but after thinking about it, she still said, really? What a coincidence. Xiao Fang nodded and said to Lu Yun, I originally wanted to visit my sister first and then go to their company. I am also looking for an office. The general manager of my brother-in-law's company helped me contact the properties here and in the World Financial Center next door. Rent here, it's more convenient, Lu Yun said without thinking, and over there, I think the most troublesome thing is that there are many Japanese companies. When you take the elevator, you often meet Japanese people. Sister, you don't like Japanese people? Xiao Fang asked. It's not that I like or dislike them, but I always feel a little awkward when dealing with them. I feel like there is a pair of eyes behind their eyes. Behind their enthusiasm and politeness, there is something very cold. Xiao Fang laughed. When my sister said this, it's true. Okay, I will listen to my sister and rent here too. While the two were talking, they arrived at Lu Yun's office. Lu Yun asked Xiao Fang to sit down. After Xiao Fang sat down, she asked Lu Yun, can I call my brother-in-law and tell him that I met you here? Lu Yun thought about it for a while and said no need, I would treat you to dinner when he comes to Shanghai. Xiao Fang said yes. Lu Yun had mixed feelings in her heart. She felt sad for Xiao Zhao's death, but also a little happy. Xiao Zhao was gone. In this way, her guesses about Zhang Chen were wrong. He was not so messy. He didn't betray Xiao Zhao. Zhang Chen was still the same Zhang Chen. Lu Yun felt that something that made her feel warm seemed to have returned. Thank you Wei Wuxian and the fish-eating brother for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1676. Lu Yun and Xiao Fang both felt that there was too much to say. They talked from common acquaintances on Wall Street to domestic acquaintances, and from the present to the past. Both of them are from Chongqing. The difference is that Lu Yun is from the urban area of Chongqing and Xiao Fang is from the county below. The two naturally chatted in Chongqing dialect. When it comes to the expression of lumps and bumps in Chongqing dialect, it is natural for them to talk. I switched to Mandarin, chatted in Mandarin for a while, and then changed back to Chongqing dialect. Xiao Fang called Lu Yun's sister Liu Yun, and Lu Yun called Xiao Fang Yao Mei. Lu Yun confirmed that the person she saw at the cemetery in Flushing, New York, was Xiao Fang. She also learned about Zhang Chen's current situation and found out that the woman Tan Shahan who appeared with Zhang Chen turned out to be just an old colleague with Zhang Chen. Her relationship with her good friends, as well as with Lu Ligan, and her relationship with Zhang Chen did not go any further, and it was not as bad as she imagined. This made Lu Yun feel very relieved. What collapsed was re-established. When it comes to Xiao Zhao, both of them shed tears no matter how much they couldn't hold it back, which made their relationship even more intimate. Xiao Fang also learned from Lu Yun not only the general situation of the entire domestic financial circle, but also a lot of things about her sister and brother-in-law in Haikan, including why they left Haikan, and many of Xiao Fang's vague shadows. Things are now clear. Lu Yun also knew the whereabouts of Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan, and also knew that Li Yong and Zhang Chen were still good friends and brothers. Lu Yun thought to herself, this fat man is not worthy of being my brother. Although he is already in a high position, he has been a good friend since childhood. It can be heard from his mouth that there are still many things that have not changed about him, just as they have always been. Lu Yun did not ask about Lu Ligan. Xiao Fang took the initiative to tell her. However, Lu Ligan's departure was a mystery even to Zhang Chen and the others, and his whereabouts were even more unknown. Lu Yun listened, not surprised at all. It seemed that she had expected it, and she seemed to have a feeling that Lu Ligan would have such an ending. Lu Yun was silent. Lu Yun and Xiao Fang said that your sister and your brother-in-law are really a suitable pair, a pair that makes people confident. Xiao Fang was puzzled and asked, what does a confident couple mean? Lu Yun smiled and said, to put it bluntly, it makes people believe that there is still love, don't you think? Xiao Fang nodded and agreed. What a pity. Lu Yun sighed, okay, let me tell you, what are you going to do? Xiao Fang told Lu Yun what she was going to do, and Lu Yun agreed that our two companies could cooperate in the future. If you have a good project, I can invest in it, and vice versa. Xiao Fang said okay, thank you Sister Lu Yun, I am not very familiar with the domestic environment. I hope Sister Lu Yun can teach me more in the future. Lu Yun smiled and said, there are not many people who can teach you Fang. I have heard your name all over the country. Xiao Fang said, when I am on Wall Street, I often hear about Sister Lu Yun, Miss Lu from Lujiazhuai, Shanghai. Okay, let's not flatter each other, Lu Yun said with a smile. To do finance in China now, it is difficult to say it is difficult, but it is also easy to say it is easy. Why? Because it is in a state of constant regulation, like in the earliest days, we can do almost anything. Standing there and looking around, we can see the desolation. The feeling of freedom is simply wonderful. Almost all supervision is blank. Even when it comes to blatant market manipulation, the regulators are helpless and can only turn a blind eye. Why? There is no basis for law enforcement. Such behavior, to be honest, even me did. But I don't dare to do it now. I stopped a long time ago. Nowadays, supervision is becoming more and more standardized, but it is not fully standardized. At this stage, you can take advantage of loopholes if you want, but after you do, you will probably pay for it the heavy price. My understanding and advice, Xiaofang, is to take a step back in everything. What do you mean, Sister Lu Yun? Xiaofang asked. That is, what you can and cannot do, the boundaries are blurred, and you would rather not do it. In our industry, the fastest people will die the fastest. Those who are at the forefront. Although the US regulatory system is strict, it draws a very clear line. Yes, you know clearly what areas cannot be crossed. In China, as I said earlier, because the regulatory system is constantly being improved, there are still many ambiguities. When you enter these twilight zones, you may be fine at the time and make huge profits, but there is one thing that is scary. What is it? Xiaofang asked. Although laws and regulations should not be retroactive, in actual operations, this does not exist. They will still make lists, calculate general ledgers, and uproot you. This is scary, unless you do one job and then run away, so I say, take a step back in everything and give yourself room, so that it is safer, Lu Yun said. Xiaofang nodded, I understand, Sister Lu Yun. In China, there is another thing that we must pay attention to, that is, when we invest in an enterprise, we must not only pay attention to the risks of the enterprise, but also the risks of the people themselves. In comparison, China has not done enough in this regard. The boundary between legal persons and natural persons is blurred, so if a person has a problem, his company will definitely be destroyed, Lu Yun said. On the other hand, when we invest in companies, we are also investing in people, Xiaofang said. Yes, Lu Yun nodded, human risks are sometimes higher than corporate risks. Xiaofang's phone rang. It was Xiaomi. Xiaofang quickly picked it up and told Xiaomi, I'm upstairs at a friend's place. By the way, Sister Mi, the World Financial Center next door is not considered. I still want to rent. Over here at Jinmao Tower, okay, I'll come down. Lu Yun stood up and said to Xiaofang, I'll go with you. Xiaofang quickly said, thank you, Sister Lu Yun. All the houses in Jinmao Tower are for rent only, not for sale. Xiaofang and Lu Yun took the elevator to the first floor, where Xiaomi was already waiting for them. After Xiaofang introduced them to each other, the three of them went to the leasing center of the building. Xiaofang quickly selected an office area of more than 500 square meters on the 28th floor, and the two parties signed an agreement. Xiaofang called and told Zhang Chen that her office had been rented and was also on the 28th floor of Jinmao building. Zhang Chen agreed that he would come to Shanghai after I was done here. When Xiaofang was on the phone, Lu Yun kept shaking her head at her. Xiaofang understood that this was to tell her not to tell Zhang Chen that she met her here, so Xiaofang didn't say anything about Lu Yun. After hanging up the phone, Xiaofang asked Lu Yun, what, do you want to scare my brother-in-law? Yes, Lu Yun said, the main thing is that we haven't seen each other for too long. I don't know what to say on the phone. It's better to talk after we meet. Xiaofang nodded. At noon, the three of them went upstairs to have a buffet together. Lu Yun and Xiaofang said that we would have dinner together in the evening, and I would not accompany you in the afternoon. Before Xiaofang opened her mouth, Xiaomi said, okay, I will accompany her in the afternoon. All three laughed. In the afternoon, Xiaomi accompanied Xiaofang to the vehicle management office to take the test. Xiaofang spent more than 10 minutes and easily got full marks. Next, She was waiting to be issued a driver's license. When Xiaofang came out of the examination room, Xiaomi told her that the license had already been applied for, and the recruitment advertisement in the Xinmin Evening News had also been posted. If it was quick, it would be in the newspaper tomorrow. The recruitment advertisement is temporarily posted in the name of Liu customization. When the time comes, the interviews will also be placed in Liu customization. Xiaofang is now eager to recruit, one for legal affairs, one for his assistant, and we will hire an accountant and a cashier, and hire an office director who will also be in charge of human resources. We will hire other business staff after the company is renovated. Lu Yun reminded Xiaofang that for a company like ours, when looking for financial personnel, you don't need to hire someone who is very smart, as long as you are honest and can do good reports and cash accounts. Why? Xiaofang asked. We don't need them to have too many ideas. If finance has too many ideas, then why do they need us? Xiaofang nodded, and both of them laughed. On the contrary, for legal affairs, you must recruit people with qualifications, not those who are too young. Lu Yun said, in this society, while there is a set of rules and laws on the table, there is also an unspoken rule that operates at the same time. How do you know this? You have to recruit an old cunning guy, and you also have to be able to handle things. Xiaofang said yes, I learned it. After coming out of the vehicle administration office, Xiaomi took Xiaofang to Ferrari's Ford store. When they arrived, there was already an employee from the company waiting for them. After buying the car, Xiaofang couldn't get it because she hadn't gotten her driver's license yet. Once on the road, this employee will help you drive back. After paying the money, when the red Ferrari parked in front of the store, Xiaomi's hands and eyes were itchy. She told Xiaofang, I haven't driven a Ferrari yet and I want to try it. Xiaomi drove the Ferrari and asked Xiaofang to sit in the passenger seat. The employee followed them in Xiaomi's car. They drove the car to the underground parking lot of Century Splendid and parked the car. Xiaofang asked Xiaomi, when I went upstairs to sit down, Xiaomi said I couldn't sit down anymore and I wanted to go back to the company to have a look. Xiaomi said goodbye to Xiaofang and left with his men. Throughout the day, all of Xiaofang's major matters were settled and her mind was made up. She decided to use her free time tomorrow to go to Nanjing first and have direct contact with Yurun's boss. In the evening, Lu Yun came and fell in love with Xiaofang as soon as she entered the door. She asked Xiaofang, is this designed by Zhang Chen? Xiaofang was right. Lu Yun smiled and said, it looked like Zhang Chen's style at first glance. Xiaofang asked, what is my brother-in-law's style? I can't say it, but I can feel it, Lu Yun said. Xiaofang took Lu Yun to visit. When the two of them went to the kitchen, Lu Yun looked around and said, they are all new. You haven't fired them yet? Xiaofang said no, so I boiled water with an electric kettle. Lu Yun looked at her watch and said to Xiaofang, let's go, Yaomei, it's still early. Let's go to the supermarket. We won't go out to eat today. Let's buy groceries and cook them ourselves. This house must be opened after the fire, it will really feel like home. Thank you Wei Wuxian, quadratic VC, 2 fishes 1 up and 1 down, for the reward at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Xiao Shen Nian Fang 48, Lao Chen Tang, Hydrogen Oxide Disinfection Knowledge Bureau, Ling in the Lake, Wang Qingxi, Tais Hong Shang 1, Lu, Gongzimian Z, Wei Wuxian, Do Bao Eng, Lao Dibao Ei, Dong Long Dong, UN monthly tickets for 11, Qiabeng, 55 Hong, forgot password and come again, happy Xiaofeng on the 8th. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1677. Lu Qing and the others stayed in Hangzhou for 4 days and filmed the 2 episodes about the National Art College. After sending Lu Qing and the others away, Zhang Chen was also preparing to go to Shanghai. He was going to help Xiao Fang come up with the design plan for the office and help her implement the construction team. Xiao Fang just returned to Shanghai from outside last night. In these 4 days, Xiao Fang went to Nanjing. Li Yang took her to Yurun Group and met Yurun's boss. She then went to Luhe, Henan, to Shuanghui Company to talk to their boss. Li Yang knew that Xiao Fang was going to Luhe, Henan, and was alone, so he was worried. Qian Fang also said no, absolutely not. She asked Li Yang and Su Jiaking to drive with Xiao Fang to Luhe. Xiao Fang was able to meet the boss of Shuanghui Group through the help of Li Yang's brother and Yurun's vice president. He was very familiar with the boss of Shuanghui. Although they were colleagues, they did not become enemies. They still had face, otherwise Mr. Wan, the president of the double meeting, was not even interested in seeing Xiao Fang. He himself was in a state of distress right now. Shuanghui Company has just experienced a great disaster and has not yet emerged from the gloom. On March 15 this year, Consumer Rights Day, CCTV broadcast a special program The Truth About Body Pigs, which exposed the Henan Jiyuan branch of Shuanghui Group's purchase and use of pork containing clenbuterol. Breaking news. Moreover, through unannounced visits by reporters, we found that this situation exists not only in Jiyuan branch, but also in many other companies. It can be said that it is a common phenomenon. As a result, public opinion exploded. The double conference became the target of verbal and written criticism from people across the country, and Luhe became the center of the storm. Suddenly, Shuanghui Group's shares were suspended from trading, the company's products were removed from supermarket shelves, and dealers and agents began to return goods. Suddenly, the company fell into an unprecedented crisis. When Xiao Fang and others arrived, although their company's stock had resumed trading, it hit the limit on the first day of resumption, and the stock price has been falling since then. Xiao Fang looked at them and felt very much like the scene when Zhang Chen and his factory were hit by SARS. Everyone they met in the factory area was depressed and worried about the future. Only their boss could tell that he was still there. On the one hand, we have to continuously apologize to consumers across the country in various media, and on the other hand, we have to appease the dealers and agents. Facing the interior, there were so many confused workers and pig farmers. When Xiao Fang saw him, his eyes were red, and he knew at a glance that he had not had a good rest for a long time. Xiao Fang told him her purpose of coming, and he looked at Xiao Fang and asked strangely, "Cooperation? Now everyone sees me as the god of plague, and you want to come to talk to me about cooperation at this time? Are you here to tease me or just laugh at me?" Xiao Fang shook her head and said, "None of them. I have studied your company carefully and I think your fundamentals are very good. Although you have encountered major difficulties because of the clenbuterol issue, it is like a person who is in excellent health is just like suffering from a serious illness. As long as he recovers from the illness, he will be a healthy person again." The boss couldn't help but look up at Xiao Fang and said to her, "Thank you, I'm surprised. You are also in finance, and you are more reliable than those bastards in the bank. Those bastards are staring at me every day now, wishing that I would pay back all the loans to them immediately. If it weren't for the city government, if I help hold on, I will be forced to death by them." Xiao Fang smiled and said, "The goals are different. They lend money to complete this year's task targets. They collect loans because they are worried that the non-performing loan rate will rise this year. In this way, not only the loan officer will be held responsible, but also the president's personal promotion, all will be affected. What we need to make is long-term investment and pay more attention to the future of the company. That is to say, for a company like mine, if I am short of money, do you still dare to give me money?" The boss looked at Xiao Fang and asked. "Dare? I said that I have done a detailed investigation of your company, and I have confidence in you. If Mr. Wan needs it, I can call you 100 million right now, and then we will discuss cooperation, Xiaofang explained. The boss stared at Xiaofang for 2 or 3 minutes. He nodded slightly and asked, "You said you pay more attention to the future of the company, so tell me, what do you think our company will do in the future? In other words, what can you help us?" Internationalization has become the world's largest meat breeding and processing enterprise, Xiaofang said. The boss laughed. "You are talking to someone who doesn't know whether his company will close tomorrow, and you tell him that it will become the largest company in the world. Are you painting a mirage for me?" Xiaofang shook her head. "No, a person with good health will not collapse because of an illness. Similarly, a company with good health will not collapse due to an extreme event. I believe this point." The boss stood up, stretched out his hand and said to Xiaofang, "Thank you again. You trust me more than many of the people and agents below me. However, now is really not a good time to talk about cooperation." Xiaofang said, "I know. In this case, give me another month, 2 months at most, and I will definitely call you, and we will discuss it in detail then, okay?" Xiaofang said yes. "I have a lot of things to do here, so I won't keep you here, sorry," the boss said. Xiaofang said he understood, "and I wish you could overcome the difficulties as soon as possible." Xiaofang, Li Yang, and Su Jiaking walked outside. The boss suddenly shouted, "Hey, little girl, you haven't paid yet." Xiaofang said yes, turned around and walked back, taking out the computer and USB shield from her bag. The boss asked, "What kind of money is this?" "It's all okay, loan, current payment, deposit, earnest money, you define it." Xiaofang turned on the computer and asked the boss, "House name and account number?" The boss burst out laughing, cupped his hands towards Xiaofang and said, "Sorry, I was joking. Just wait for my call. However, you are right about one thing. If I can't get through this difficulty, I am not worthy of your cooperation." The 3 people returned to the car, and Su Jiaking cursed, "You stingy man, we came all the way here, and they sent us away in 10 minutes, and they didn't even treat us to a meal." Xiaofang smiled and said, "Mr. Wan, I think he hasn't had a good meal for several months. Sister Jiaking, I'll treat you to whatever you want to eat. If you don't eat now, I'm so angry that I'm full." Su Jiaking scolded, "By the way, Xiaofang, are you really going to give him 100 million? "Yes, as long as he wants it, I will give it to him," Xiaofang said. "If I give it to him, he will be passive." "Why?" Su Jiaking asked. "Don't you see this man? He is a man of his word. I have checked his bottom line. If he really accepts this money, he will have to cooperate with us, and we are discussing a cooperation plan. Sometimes, he will be very passive." Xiaofang said, "He is actually short of money now, but even in such a difficult environment, without careful consideration, he will not talk about cooperation or accept money. What does it mean? It means 2 things. One is that this is a very determined person, and the other is that he takes the enterprise very seriously. Perhaps many people watching the double conference now will think that this is a bad company that will go bankrupt at any time, but he himself does not think so. He still regards the company as important as his own children. Think about it, who would do it because of himself? Do you ignore a child when he has a sore instead of trying to cure it? People like this are the ones who really run the business. Only when I cooperate with people like this do I feel at ease." "Xiaofang, have you also studied Lao Tzu?" Li Yang asked. "I've studied it," Xiaofang said. "By the way, Xiaofang, when Lao Tzu heard you say you wanted to cooperate yesterday, he immediately agreed. Why didn't you say anything? This guy is so aggressive today, but you are willing to cooperate with him," Su Jiaking said. Xiaofang said, "It's very simple. I have also studied Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu has the temperament of a reckless hero. When it comes to making friends, he is easy to make friends with, but when it comes to cooperation, he is not good. I had some premonitions that I would be better off with Lao Tzu. Tzu met and confirmed my hunch, so I decided that he was someone who could not cooperate. What's the premonition? Li Yang asked. I don't think his mind is on his business at all. Look, his Yurun and Zhuanghui are among the best in the industry. Now that Zhuanghui is having trouble, it's a good opportunity for him, but he didn't take advantage of it. Lao Tzu is a bit too ambitious. The reason why he quickly agreed to cooperate was because he wanted the funds to be available as soon as possible, but I'm sure that as long as the funds are available, he will not use them for Yurun enterprises, Xiaofang said. You're right, Lao Tzu is better at doing things. He took it from the central shopping mall and many other projects. It seems that he took it all. This guy was socializing outside all day long and didn't spend much time on Yurun. Several people in Yurun are in intrigues and forming cliques again, Li Yang said. And I'm worried that something will happen to him sooner or later. People with his personality can easily get close to officials. Brother Li Yang, right? Xiaofang asked. Li Yang said yes. He had a good relationship with several bosses in Nanjing. Officials who like to get close to their bosses are themselves a high-risk group. Such people may fail one day. If they fail, they will be the unlucky ones soon, Xiaofang said. I don't dare to cause trouble. Upper body, the picture is momentarily pleasurable. Su Jiaking said, Xiaofang, who taught you these things you learned there? I don't understand it at all. How come it seems to make sense when you analyze it? Xiaofang smiled and said, you have forgotten what I do. I haven't seen anyone who comes to me to ask for money. They don't have to think about it or use any tricks. I've already learned it. How can I ask for it? People teach that people are the smartest, most cunning, and shameless when faced with money. Money is the mirror that most reveals people's true colors. I stand next to this mirror every day. Thank you to Laocan, Yuangzi, ZSW, Murin, and Wei Wuxuan for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1678. Lu Yun's home and Xiaofang's home are not far apart. They are both on Century Avenue. Xiaofang is at the head of Century Avenue. Lu Yun is at the end of Century Avenue, next to the Shanghai Futures building. Xiaofang's home it takes about 5 or 6 minutes to drive to Lu Yun's home. Xiaofang took the high-speed train and returned to Shanghai from Nanjing. Xiaomi came to pick her up at the Hongqiao hub, brought her driver's license and company business license, and told her that in the first round of application, I had already applied for you. The requirements have been screened for you, and then we are waiting for your interview. What time? Xiaofang asked. You decide. You told them to wait for the interview notice. Once you finalize the time, just ask the office to call them to notify them. Xiaofang said yes, thank you Sister Mei. Xiaomi smiled and said, thank you for nothing, it's a trivial matter. Just as he was talking, Lu Yun called and asked where Xiaofang was now. Xiaofang said, I just came out of Hongqiao and was in Mr. Mi's car, preparing to go back to Century Splendid. Lu Yun said, we will have dinner together that night. It will be the same as that day. We cook it ourselves. But today, go to my house, identify the door, and ask Xiaomi to come too. Xiaomi was driving the car and heard Lu Yun's call, and quickly said, thank you, Mr. Lu. There are a few members in our club tonight. They are having a small party. It has been agreed that I will attend. Xiaomi, are you afraid of eating with us? Lu Yun asked. It's true that something is true, and I'm really a little scared when I'm afraid. He Shayan, the smell of your food made me cry. Xiaomi answered honestly, and the three people on both ends of the phone laughed. Indeed, it is a bit difficult for a Shanghainese to eat with two Chongqing people. It is difficult to choose the hotel to go to first. Xiaomi likes to go to hotels like Lao Taiman, or simply in his own club, while Lu Yunhe what Xiaofang likes to go to is either Sichuan food, Guizhou food, or Hunan food. Even if it's Zhongchen's Tuxianjiayuan, Xiaomi rarely goes there. After choosing the hotel, it was difficult to order the food. After the food was ordered, I still couldn't finish it on a plate. Lu Yun said, "Okay, I'll let you go, Xiaomi, and I'll find another chance next time. Yaomei, just wait at home. I'll pick you up after get off work and go shopping for groceries." Xiaofang said yes. Xiaomi sent Xiaofang to Century Fairview. After leaving, Xiaofang stood there, opened her business license, tax registration certificate, and code certificate and took a deep breath. Her company's name was Shanghai Fanghua Capital Investment Management Co., Limited. Starting from today, Primavera Capital will officially hit the road. Opening the new driver's license and looking at it, Xiaofang made a face at herself on the driver's license. Xiaofang looked at her watch. It was still early. She didn't go upstairs. Instead, she went to the underground parking lot, got into her Ferrari, started the car and went out. Shanghai is still a strange city to her. Xiaofang drives aimlessly in Pudong without using a navigation system. She uses her feelings and memories to describe this small territory where she works and lives. After getting familiar with it, I will go to Puxi if I have time in the next few days. Xiaofang walked around the streets for more than an hour. At least she connected all the roads in Lojiazhuai in her mind, and she had a perceptual map. She also passed the Shanghai Futures building and the gate of the community where Lu Yun lived. At night, she would eat in this community. Next, she didn't know where she would stop or eat in the city. The city will be like developing a photo. When you go to a place, that place will be developed. One thing Xiaofang is very clear about is that the deeper you penetrate into the capillaries of a city, the deeper and thicker the memory of the city will be in your mind, and the deeper your feelings for the city will be. In the end, it reaches the level of attachment, and it is only suitable for tourists forever. Xiaofang remembers that when she first arrived in New Haven and later in New York, her favorite thing to do was to hold a city map and walk non-stop, almost visiting the entire city, even the street corners. She knows all about the little shops. She knows where the burgers are delicious, where the coffee is delicious, and where is the most comfortable place to sit and drink beer. It was almost time, Xiaofang decided to go back. When she went back, it was different from when she came out more than an hour ago. She felt that she was in Lojiazhuai and could no longer get lost. She intertwined all the roads in her mind. It has become a road network. This is her home. Wouldn't it be embarrassing if she got lost in front of her home? At around 6 o'clock, Lu Yun arrived downstairs at Xiaofang's house, called her and asked her to come down. Xiaofang went downstairs, got into Lu Yun's car, and the two of them went to the supermarket. When they arrived at the supermarket, the two of them went straight to the fresh food area. After walking around for a while, they were a little confused. They seemed to have no idea what to buy and couldn't remember what they wanted to eat. Lu Yun had an idea and said to Xiaofang, "Yaomei, we eat hot pot." Xiaofang's eyes lit up and she nodded repeatedly. The two people immediately changed their shopping route. First they went upstairs to buy an all-in-one pot, then went back downstairs and bought hot pot base and dipping sauce, fermented bean curd, and jars of sesame oil. Xiaofang picked up a jar of minced garlic. Ask Lu Yun. "Sister, do you want this?" "Yes, I won't see anyone at night anyway." Xiaofang said yes and put the minced garlic into the shopping cart. Returning to the fresh food area, I bought lotus roots, lettuce, tomatoes, potatoes, and lettuce. When I arrived at the aquatic products area, I bought half a caddy of prawns and kelp knots. In the dry goods area, I bought bamboo fungus, yuba, and vermicelli, and also bought lunch. For meat, I finally went to the frozen products section and bought beef balls, shrimp sliders, beef rolls, mutton rolls, tripe, duck blood, and goose intestines. Finally, I bought a large bucket of ice cream. Looking at half a cart of things, Xiaofang asked, "Sister, did we buy too much?" Lu Yun took a look and thought it was true. She said, "Whatever, if we can't finish it, we'll eat it tomorrow." "Yao Mei, do you ever get tired of hot pot?" Xiaofang quickly said, "No, no." Pushing the cart, she arrived at the checkout area and saw a row of Green Arrow chewing gum. Lu Yun asked the salesperson, "Are there any big bubble gums?" Xiaofang laughed when she heard it. There was a time when people ate hot pot in Chongqing. After eating, the store would give them big bubble gum. The salesperson said, "It's not available here, it's on the shelves inside." Xiaofang wanted to go find it, but Lu Yun said, "Forget it, this is it, an imposter," she said, and took a box of Green Arrow gum. The salesperson looked at her and didn't understand what she meant by counterfeit. The two of them arrived at Lu Yun's house. Lu Yun soaked the yuba and bamboo fungus first, and then took Xiaofang to visit room by room. There was only one room. Lu Yun did not open the door to let Xiaofang go in. Every room in that room was full of food. "These are clothes from half an acre field. Xiaofang must recognize them. It will be a little embarrassing to open them." Xiaofang said, "Sister, your place seems more comfortable than mine." "Of course," Lu Yun said, "you have only lived here for a few days, and I have lived here for several years. You are probably still in the stage of looking for something that you don't have. That's how people are. They accumulate over time and slowly develop themselves. It's very comfortable." Xiaofang nodded. Lu Yun found a long, roomy t-shirt, gave it to Xiaofang, and told her, "You probably don't want to dress so seriously to eat hot pot, do you?" Xiaofang took the long t-shirt to the guest room, took off her outer clothes and pants, and put on the long t-shirt. The length was almost to her knees. Xiaofang looked at herself in the mirror. She felt a little strange. She twisted her body and said, "No, it feels so comfortable," and a long-lost feeling comes back. Xiaofang made another face at herself in the mirror and giggled. In the past few years, Xiaofang has been working on Wall Street, which is the most formal and well-dressed place in New York. When she comes home, because Zhang Xiangbei is there, she is also dressed very seriously. Xiaofang herself has forgotten what time passed by so casually. Xiaofang walked out of the room and saw Lu Yun coming down from upstairs. She also had the same look. Under the t-shirt, there was a pair of white, straight, and thin legs, wearing a pair of slippers. They were completely different from the Lu Yun she saw before. Everyone looked at each other and laughed, remembering that they were eating hot pot on the streets of Chongqing many years ago. Isn't it like this? This is a return to true nature. The integrated pot was placed on the table, water was added, and the hot pot base was also put into the pot. The two of them went to wash and cut vegetables together. Most of what they bought were semi-finished products, and there were not many vegetables to wash and cut. They were busy soon. "It's over." When all the dishes were brought to the table, the pot on the table began to simmer with red oil, and the soaked yuba and bamboo fungus were ready. Because she was worried about the heavy fumes in the house, Lu Yun turned off the air conditioner and opened all the doors and windows. Xiaofang said, "No, no, let's go eat on the terrace." Lu Yunyi thought, right, that would be the easiest and cooler. The two people moved the pots and vegetables out, found the wiring board, plugged in the electricity, and they were ready to eat right away. Lu Yun went to the refrigerator and got some cold beer, and the two started drinking, eating, and chatting. Lu Yun said, "I can guarantee that this is the most comfortable meal I have ever had in Shanghai." Xiaofang said, "Me too." Lu Yun scolded, "How many days have you been in Shanghai?" The two people laughed wildly. The sky was high and cloudy, and it was already dark, but the night in Shanghai was bright. Sitting here, they could see the Jinmao Tower where they worked, the World Financial Center and the Oriental Pearl Tower. You can see the Shanghai Center under construction and the Faint Bund, both of which are full of brilliance. Lu Yun looked around the terrace and said, "I should put a treadmill here and exercise for a while after eating. Otherwise, I will become a fat guy from Chongqing." "No, sister, we have to play too," Xiaofang said, and the two of them laughed wildly again. The September night breeze was blowing, a little hot, but not stuffy anymore. Someone was playing the saxophone on the terrace of the building next door. No one could be seen, but the sound was audible. Lu Yun asked, "All the singers and sellers are here, Yao Mei, do you have any change? Can we order some songs?" Xiaofang said, "Yes, I want to order Jackie Chung's I Want to Go Flirting with You. Lu Yun said, "I ordered The Meaning of Travel by Chen Kijhen." Xiaofang smiled and said, "Sister, she is still fresh and fresh." "Old and fresh," Lu Yun said. After saying that, the two people continued to laugh wildly. The saxophone next door is still playing Green Island Serenade. Green Island is very far away, and it seems that it is still several hours away from the city that never sleeps. It takes a while until the sound of the customs building can be faintly heard. When the bells ring, it's really night in Shanghai. Now, it's still dormant in the sound of the market. Thank you to Quadratic VC, Taizongshan 1, Baby Tin Soldier, 1 Up and 2 Fishes, and the rewards at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you to Tianying 1978, Hydrogen Oxide Disinfection Knowledge Bureau, Dong Long Dong, Qian Dad, Purple Hay, 55 Hong, and Zi Zhenjiao for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1679. Both of them had their stomachs full, so they stood up and settled the mess. After taking a shower and changing into pajamas, the two of them sat in the living room and chatted. Xiaofang and Lu Yun said that they had obtained their business licenses. Lu Yun said yes, and they would officially start working next. Xiaofang talked to Lu Yun about her feelings about going to Yurun and double fare. Lu Yun agreed with Xiaofang's judgment. She said that we should stay away from entrepreneurs who always want to take shortcuts. Also, we should know who we are. Positioning. What do you mean? Xiaofang asked. We should not invest in projects that are too popular. We must be clear that we rely on our own abilities to make a living. But apart from our own abilities, our other capital is zero. If the meal is too delicious, it will not be our turn. We can't even squeeze in. Don't squeeze in, Lu Yun said, there are intact eggs under the overturned nest. When bad luck comes, we will be unlucky too. Besides, he might even be pushed out and suffer bad luck, Xiaofang said. Lu Yun nodded. Xiaofang and Lu Yun talked about some of her colleagues who came back from Wall Street, that is, those whose homes have shade trees, and whose financial circles are so big. Lu Yun also heard about what they did. Xiaofang said that many of them I'm not interested in being invited to be a partner. Yao Mei, you did the right thing. Over the years, I have met a lot of people like this, and I have not cooperated with them. Many of the people who invited me a few years ago either got into trouble or ran away, especially the group of people at Goldman Sachs have been cheating all over the country in the past few years and have defrauded a lot of money. They believe in the background, and they will fail if they don't know the background, Lu Yun said. I know that someone who has done business in the United States and came back to brag about being a vice president actually was nothing and had very poor abilities when he was in the United States. The Americans have also followed the same trick as the Chinese and are ready to send him back as a vice president. When he was a broker, he was given the title of vice president. After returning to China, it was said that he looked ugly, Xiaofang said. Yes, what they do is cheating and abduction. It's very low level. Anyway, in China, people are stupid and have a lot of money, and there is a market for them. Lu Yun nodded and continued, so we must identify ourselves as hard workers. Finance is inherently a tightrope walk. It is the same everywhere, especially in China. Don't watch some people dance happily and fall down. It will be more miserable than anyone else, and living a long life is more important than living well. Xiaofang laughed, and Lu Yun asked, "Why are you laughing? Did I say something wrong?" No, I was thinking of my brother-in-law," Xiaofang said. "What's wrong with Zhang Chen?" Lu Yun asked. "Didn't he know Mr. Ma from Diabao.com? A few years ago, he had the opportunity to invest in their payment company, but he didn't go. The reason is the same as what my sister said before. Their money is so profitable, so he will definitely go. People flocked to her, so he didn't go," Xiaofang said. Lu Yun smiled and said, "I didn't expect that." Zhang Chen's mind is still very clear. It was also Li Yong who reminded him. Wasn't Li Yong in Hangzhou at that time? He reminded my brother-in-law that teacher Ma would be picked up by these people sooner or later, and he himself could not make the decision in the company," Xiaofang said. Li Yong said he wouldn't even try to get involved in Mr. Ma's company. He scolded my brother-in-law for not being clear-headed and still wanting to get involved. Lu Yun nodded. It seems that Li Yong knows a lot, but the fat man just doesn't know. In this way, teacher Ma will probably not be able to escape the fate of those people I mentioned earlier. If he doesn't have a clear mind, he still can't if you think you can guide the country. The two people were talking, but before they knew it, it was already too late. Even the bell of the customs building could be faintly heard. It was also night in Shanghai. Even though it was so close, Xiaofang was too lazy to go back and slept at Lu Yun's place at night. "By the way, Sister Lu Yun, my brother-in-law will come to Shanghai tomorrow and he will help me decorate my office. Are you going to hide or see him?" Xiaofang asked. Lu Yun's face turned slightly red and she cursed, "What do I have to hide? Until we separated in Haikan, he and I and your sister were still good friends, and we didn't have any holidays." Xiaofang giggled, "As long as you don't hide, why do I feel that you are a little afraid of seeing him?" "You," Lu Yun said angrily. After turning off the lights and lying on the bed alone, Lu Yun had insomnia. Zhang Chen was coming tomorrow, and the day finally came when she would face him face to face. Lu Yun felt really uneasy. Lu Yun stretched out her hands to hug herself tightly, and then hugged herself tighter. She felt almost suffocated. When Zhang Chen arrived in Shanghai, he first went to M50 and went to Laoju's Zigu photography studio. Laoju called Zhang Chen and told him that many of the villains had already prepared the works for the Guggenheim Museum. After making it, Zhang Chen must go and have a look when he comes to Shanghai. Zhang Chen saw that this batch of villains were even more exquisite than the batch of Battle of Fai Shui. Zhang Chen asked, "Have you replaced them?" Laoju said no, now that the copper has gone up, it's just like cutting things down. Zhang Chen said yes, he really has to spend a lot of money. Whether you can start overseas depends on this. I know, that's it, Laoju said. Laoju patted the sand table and said to Zhang Chen, "Someone from the Shanghai consulate also came and took pictures here, but the Guggenheim asked if the sand table could also be transported there." Zhang Chen said yes, it means they attach great importance to this exhibition, so send it over. Zhang Chen thought to himself, Tashanwan Painting Gallery had to transport such a large wood carving archway to participate in the exhibition. He could imagine where the Guggenheim would put the sand table. They would definitely place it in the courtyard of the cloister-style exhibition hall. That place was perfect. It seemed like this Guggenheim still has experience in exhibition arrangement. When I exhibited Battle of Fai Shui at the Riverside Oil Painting Gallery, I should have placed the sand table in the middle of the exhibition hall on the first floor, so that it would be more shocking. It's a pity now that I think about it. Do you have a Guggenheim album? Zhang Chen asked. Yes, Director Zhao gave it to me last time, Lao Ju said, finding the Guggenheim album and handing it to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen turned to the page in the atrium and said to Lao Ju, I think they just want to put the sand table here. Take a look, is this location cool? Hello, hello, Lao Ju looked at it and became excited. Zhang Chen made an appointment with Lao Ju to have dinner together at their Tuxianjiayuan hotel in the evening. Zhang Chen and the others now have 3 Tuxianjiayuan hotels in Shanghai. In addition to the one on Huihai Middle Road, another one has been opened in Gubei. Opened one in Pudong. Please wait for me to text you which one to go to. Zhang Chen and Lao Ju said. Lao Ju said okay, okay, okay. Zhang Chen was leaving, and Lao Ju had to keep him for dinner. Zhang Chen said that he had to rush to Jinmao Tower and had no time to eat. Lao Ju said, when you arrive at Jinmao Tower, you will be hungry, don't you still need to eat? In this way, we will have a simple meal. I will ask the people below to buy some vegetables, and we will eat here. Zhang Chen had no choice but to say yes. After coming out of M50, Zhang Chen went to Jinmao Tower, took the elevator to the 35th floor, and walked into the office of Liu Customization. When the little girls inside saw him, they all stood up and called Mr. Zhang. Xiaomi heard the noise outside and walked out of her office. When she saw Zhang Chen, Xiaomi told him, Xiaofang is not here. Where did she go? Zhang Chen asked. There are interviews here in the morning. After 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there are 2 more interviews to be done. Now, she goes upstairs, Xiaomi said. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, upstairs? Isn't the house she rented down below, on the 28th floor? Yes, upstairs, on the 46th floor, is Pilot Investment. Xiaofang said that if you come, I will let you go upstairs to the president's office, Xiaomi and Zhang Chen said. After Xiaomi finished speaking, she smiled at him, a bit weirdly. Zhang Chen and Xiaomi said, let's have dinner together in Tuxianjiayuan tonight. Xiaomi said okay, come up quickly. Zhang Chen took the elevator downstairs, reached the first floor, and then entered the elevator to 46. In the elevator, Zhang Chen kept thinking about the name Territory Investment. He seemed to have heard it somewhere before. When he walked out of the elevator, Zhang Chen understand, Linghang Investment means that, like Xiaofang, he is also engaged in finance. He should be Xiaofang's classmate or old colleague. I may have heard Xiaofang talk about it. When Zhang Chen arrived at Linghang Investment, the front desk staff asked him who he was looking for. Zhang Chen said he was your president. The staff took him inside and walked to the door of the president's office. He knocked on the door and heard a voice inside saying come in. The staff opened the door and Zhang Chen walked in. The 2 people inside stood up and smiled. Looking at him, Zhang Chen was surprised. He saw one was Xiaofang and the other was Lu Yun. Zhang Chen suddenly remembered that he had seen Linghang Investment, not that he had heard Xiaofang talk about it, but that Gong Shui's address was here at that time. Zhang Chen immediately understood that Lu Yun was Gong Shui. Hello, Zhang Chen, Lu Yun said. Zhang Chen was still a little confused, but he immediately said, hello Lu Yun, I really didn't expect it to be you. Yeah, I didn't expect that I would see you again through Xiaofang. Lu Yun smiled. Lu Yun, we have been looking for you. No, I want to make a call right away. You must answer this call, Zhang Chen said. Lu Yun suddenly became nervous, thinking that Zhang Chen was talking about Lu Ligan. This was the last call she wanted to make. Wasn't it because of him that she had disappeared for so many years? Lu Yun asked. Who is it? Zhang Chen pressed the button and said, Li Yang, this damn fat guy really misses you. Lu Yun breathed a sigh of relief. Zhang Chen dialed Li Yong's number, and Li Yong said, "Zhang Chen, what, are you in Beijing?" "No, no, Li Yong, I'm in Shanghai. I have a call. Please answer it." Zhang Chen handed the phone to Lu Yun as he spoke, and Lu Yun said, "Hello, Fatty, I'm Lu Yun." "Sister." Li Yong was startled, and then asked, "Sister, is it really you?" "It's me, Yuko." The secretary pushed the door open and came in. Li Yong waved to him. The secretary backed out and closed the door. "Sister, where have you been all these years?" Li Yong choked up as he spoke. "I've been looking for you." Lu Yun's eyes were also red, and she smiled and said, "I am already in Shanghai." "What's wrong?" "Fatty, shameless or not, you are already giving a report on the rostrum, and you are still crying." Li Yong choked and said, "So what, there is no sister who makes reports and sits on the podium." Lu Yun took two pieces of paper from the table, pressed her eyes, took the phone, and walked to the conference room next door. "Thank you Quadratic VC for your half-drunk and half-awake tips. Thank you for your monthly votes of self, no future, only remember the original intention, Shi Yitan, Witness, Tai Zhongshang 1, Hurricane 0669, Book Friends 201901092142571774. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1680. Li Yong and Lu Yun said, "Sister, I want to go to Shanghai to see you." Lu Yun said, "No, if I could meet you, I would have looked for you long ago. Yongzi, I have been paying attention to you these years and know where you are, but I have never looked for you. Yongzi, you are a smart person, you should know why." Li Yong sighed and said, "I know, sister still thinks about me." "I'm thinking about you, and I'm thinking about myself," Lu Yun said. "In the middle of nothing, there must be something in life. Your current position, my identity, we were classmates in the past, and it is easy for others to connect us." "Yes, Yongzi, I don't think Qiang has ever gone to Beijing to see you, right?" Li Yong is right, just talking on the phone, all I can see in the past few years is Monkey and Zhang Chen. "Well, they are different. Zhang Chen is in the industry and can be upright, and Monkey is your kind," Lu Yun said with a smile. "Yongzi, do you know the intention of Qiang?" "No." "As long as you know, Yongzi, just sit on your rostrum and do things according to your conscience. We will all be happy for you." "That's enough," Lu Yun said. "I can do it, sister, I won't do any messy things, don't worry," Li Yong said. Lu Yun smiled and said, "I'm sure I'm at ease with you, Yongzi, if you dare to do it, I won't recognize you as my brother. When we were young, we wanted to change the society. Although it was naive, that was our original intention. Now you have the ability, do more useful things for this society." "I know, sister," Li Yong said. Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang were sitting there. Xiao Fang told Zhang Chen how she met Lu Yun. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "This world is really small when you are young, so you will all meet. Sister Lu Yun is very famous on Wall Street, and many people know her. I have come and gone several times, but the time was too rushed and I didn't stop in Shanghai. Otherwise, I would have come to visit her long ago, and I wouldn't have met her until now," Xiao Fang explained. "That's it, it's pretty good," Zhang Chen said. Lu Yun walked out and returned the phone to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "How about this fat guy hasn't changed yet." Lu Yun also laughed, "It sounds like not." "It's not what it sounds like, but I've seen him since he was the head of the township, and the essence of him is still there," Zhang Chen said. "If he had his eyes turned upward, I wouldn't be able to visit him every time I go to Beijing. At home, by the way, Lu Yun and Sun Ho will be here in 5 minutes. As Zhang Chen said, Lu Yun's phone rang. The number was unfamiliar to Lu Yun, so she handed it to Zhang Chen to look at. Zhang Chen laughed loudly, "It's Sun Ho, it's not even 5 minutes yet." Lu Yun picked it up with a smile, and Sun Ho said, "Lu Yun, if nothing else, I will go to Shanghai for a meeting next week, and we will have a good time together." Lu Yun said yes. Sun Ho works in a bank. Generally speaking, he and Lu Yun are in the same circle. Lu Yun often deals with the presidents, so she will refuse to meet Li Yong, but she will not refuse Sun Ho. This is a matter of propriety. Lu Yun hung up the phone and Zhang Chen said, "How about it? Do you know how many people are looking for you?" Lu Yun smiled. "Are you still going to wait for Qiang and Lin Yiyan to come to you?" Zhang Chen asked. Lu Yun said, "Tell me Qiang's phone number." Zhang Chen told Lu Yun Qiang's phone number. Lu Yun picked up her mobile phone and pressed the numbers one by one. After pressing them, she pressed the dial button again. The call was connected, but before Lu Yun spoke, Chen Qiang called out, "Lu Yun, it must be you. I just called Yiyan over and was about to call you together, and you called. I'm just afraid that you will raise an army to investigate," Lu Yun said with a smile. "You still have to ask questions, don't think we will let you go," Lin Yiyan shouted from the side. "Okay, Yiyan, I'll wait for you," Lu Yun said. After a few phone calls, Lu Yun's mood gradually calmed down. She felt that her present and past were reconnected, and it didn't seem so scary. As time passed, everyone was changing. What made her feel warm was that some things have not changed yet, they are still there, they are there, they have always been there, which makes Lu Yun feel that she is not so lonely anymore. Lu Yun, Zhang Chen, and Xiao Fang said, "Let's go." Zhang Chen asked, "Where to go?" "Aren't you here to decorate Xiao Fang's office?" Lu Yun said, "Of course you are going to see her place." Zhang Chen said, "Oh, wait a little longer." "What are you waiting for?" Lu Yun asked. "When a friend of mine arrives, he will be the one who actually does the work," Zhang Chen said, turning around and saying to Xiao Fang, "Lao Wan, he arranged the decoration of the place where you live." Turning around, he said to Lu Yun, "A friend is engaged in real estate in Shanghai." Lu Yun nodded, and both of them avoided mentioning Lu Ligan. Although Lu Yun knew that the person Zhang Chen was talking about was probably from Lu Ligan's company. The house he lived in and Xiao Fang's house were both developers. Splendid china, Lu Yun could easily think of it. Zhang Chen's phone rang and it was Lao Wan. Zhang Chen and Lao Wan said, "Go to the 28th floor, we will be there soon." When the three of them arrived on the 28th floor, Lao Wan and another person were already waiting here, holding a tape measure and a notebook in their hands. Lao Wan and Xiao Fang have known each other for a long time. When Xiao Fang saw him, she said, "Thank you, Brother Wan. The house you decorated for me is very good. I like it very much." Lao Wan smiled and said, "I don't do the little things. I just go there often to check on you." "Xiao Fang, it's great that you are back in Shanghai. If you need my help with anything in the future, just call me." Xiao Fang said, "Yes, thank you, Brother Wan." Introducing Lu Yun and Lao Wan, Zhang Chen said, "This is our old friend, and the company is also upstairs." Lu Yun smiled and said, "Not only is the company upstairs, but I also live in the house you developed." Speaking of which, Lao Wan quickly said, "Mr. Lu, if you are dissatisfied with anything, just tell me, that is the first project I did in Shanghai." Lu Yun said, "Very good, thank you." Going inside, Lao Wan and the man he brought with him pulled up a measuring tape, and Zhang Chen also opened his sketchbook. He first drew the layout of the entire space, and then asked Lao Wan about the relevant dimensions, and Lao Wan told him one by one. Zhang Chen and Lao Wan said that this place will be used immediately after decoration, and the materials must be environmentally friendly. Lao Wan said yes. Everyone went downstairs together. Zhang Chen was going to buy paper, pens, and paints, and then went back to design. Xiao Fang was going to have an interview at Liu Customization. Zhang Chen, Lao Wan, and Lu Yun said that they would have dinner together in the evening. Lao Wan and Lu Yun almost happened at the same time. Say yes, I'll please. Zhang Chen said with a smile, I have a hotel in Shanghai. Of course I'm the one who invited me. Let's go to the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel in Pudong. There's no one else. It's just the four of us, plus Xiaomi, and one person who works as a photographer at M50 Friend. Lu Yun said yes, she has wanted to visit your Tuxianjiayuan Hotel for a long time. Everyone said goodbye. Xiaofang's company is engaged in finance, which is different from companies engaged in trading or real estate. The atmosphere of the office should be a bit solemn and not too lively. When Zhang Chen designed it, it was positioned to be simple and fashionable. The decoration of the office is a part of the decoration itself, and a large part is the choice of office furniture. Jinmao Tower has large lighting surfaces. Even if the lights are not turned on indoors, there is enough light. In such an office area, the color furniture that is too shallow or made of material that is not thick enough will appear light and thin. Zhang Chen went to IKEA, and then to several markets selling office furniture, but he didn't see any suitable furniture. The quality was too low. What Zhang Chen needed was something that looked high-end at first glance, but was also very high-end. Introverted furniture will make people who come to your company to talk about things feel a very low-key luxury, but understand that this is a powerful company. This will bring invisible oppression and create a sense of trust subconsciously. Zhang Chen simply went to several shopping malls selling imported furniture and creative furniture. Here, he found a furniture store imported from Italy. The design style of the furniture was very simple, with straight lines. Zhang Chen chose a black walnut dining table as a small Fang's desk has two bedside tables stacked on top of each other, used as cabinets, and has a unique style. I chose a set of white, solid square stainless steel and leather sofas, which are very heavy, and a set of stainless steel and black walnut shelves. Zhang Chen asked the store owner, can the furniture here be customized? The store owner immediately called Italy and was told that if he ordered it today, it would take about 45 to 50 days to arrive in Shanghai. Zhang Chen calculated that the decoration time was almost the same. He sat down, took out pen and paper, and drew out the large office area outside, several other offices, conference rooms, and even the furniture, sofas, and chairs at the front desk. What material it is made of is clearly marked on the side. The shop owner looked on, a little confused, and asked, "Boss, do you make furniture?" Zhang Chen smiled and said, "If I were a furniture maker, would I still order furniture from you? Send it over quickly and let them quote." The store owner quickly said, "Okay." 10 minutes later, the quotation from Italy came over. The shop owner took the quotation and said to Zhang Chen hesitantly, "Boss, it's a bit expensive." "How much?" 3,920,000. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, just hurry me up and deliver the goods on time." Italians are a bit procrastinating in doing things. The boss said it was fine, but the deposit was relatively high, requiring 30%. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, can I swipe my card?" Of course, the boss said. Zhang Chen took out a bank card and asked him to swipe it. For hanging in the office, Lao Ju suggested using old photos of Shanghai, and I came to help. Especially in the conference room, one side has floor-to-ceiling glass, and the bund can be seen outside the glass. On the other side of the wall, Lao Ju suggested hanging one. The long black and white photography of the bund used to be more than 3 meters long. Zhang Chen thinks Lao Ju's suggestion is very good. Zhang Chen felt that it was not good for Xiaofang's own office to be too cold, So he asked Xiaoshu to copy a work by Zudikan that was 2.5 meters high and 1.4 meters wide, and hung it behind her desk. Thank you Quadratic VC for the reward of 2 fishes, 1 up and 1 down, at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you to Wang Wenhai, Major 7, Fan Pei's Journey to the West, Dragon, Wei Wuxuan, Kingbo, 55 Hong, Purple Hay, Tianying 17,978, Qian Dad, Win Sanliu, and your monthly ticket is stuck. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1681. The office is still being renovated, but Xiaofang has already started working officially. The newly recruited people will work at Liu customization for the time being. Xiaomi has vacated an office as Xiaofang's office. Xiaofang invested in 2 of Lu Yun's projects. The people who were developing energy storage stations also came back from abroad and established their laboratory in Weijiao Kiao. Lu Yun was also very optimistic about this project and invested with Xiaofang. Xiaofang also flew to Shenzhen and Zhuhai, inspected 3 battery companies, and invested in one of them. At the same time, Xiaofang also invested in a local company in Shanghai that produces silicone. When Xiaofang was busy here, other people were also busy. By October, Zhongchen's 2 logistics bases in Songjiang and Hangcheng were put into use, which made Zhongchen relieved. From a financial point of view, with so many projects going on at the same time, there is indeed some pressure. Having 2 bases put into use means that water starts to flow in, which can relieve his pressure. Next, the projects in Tianjin and Nanjing will be completed, and Zhongchen can completely relax and even continue looking for new bases. Su Qiaoxin told Zhongchen that she was going to Spain to open a European branch, and Zhongchen agreed to her request. At the end of October, Xiaofang moved into her own company. On the 2nd day after she moved into her own company, Mr. Wan from Shuanghui Group called Xiaofang and said that he would come to Shanghai the day after tomorrow and thought of Xiaofang. After taking a look at the company, Xiaofang felt happy when she received the call. She felt that her judgment was correct. Mr. Wan was really a man of his word. At the same time, he had time to leave his headquarters and come to Shanghai, which meant that his most difficult period was over and he was starting to focus on the future. He still remembered what Xiaofang told him, that he would help him become the world's largest meat processing company. He was very interested in knowing how he could become the world's largest, and how he could become the world's largest. Given. Xiaofang wrote down several companies in the United States and Europe on paper and asked her subordinates to immediately collect the information of these companies, especially the financial data. The more detailed the better, no matter how late at night, they must be handed over today. Xiaoshu was still working very late at night. He was in the studio working on the works that would go to the United States to participate in the Biennale next month. Excluding the transportation time on the road, he still had less than a week. This piece of work, Xiaoshu the creation, was not going very smoothly. After Zhongchen came to see it in the afternoon and made some comments, Xiaoshu felt that he needed to make extensive modifications. In comparison, the most nervous one is Xiangnan. There Shakespeare and Tang Xianzu participated in the performance of the Provincial Department of Culture, which can be said to have caused a huge sensation. However, the feedback came back from both sides, saying that they were good. I think it is an innovation, very fresh, and the performances of several young actors are very good. People in this group believe that for next year's Ministry of Culture performance, Shakespeare and Tang Xianzu should be selected to participate in, and the practice of ranking based on seniority should no longer be used. The opposition is equally strong. They say that there is nothing wrong with innovation in drama, but innovation is not about messing around. It is not about putting a few foreigners on the stage and using Western instruments for accompaniment. This is innovation. Drama is the treasure of our nation, and it still needs to be planted. Rooted in this fertile soil of our nation. The more national it is, the more global it is. Our dramas must pay special attention to nationality and use the content of the drama itself to attract young audiences, rather than relying on sensationalism. Those attracted by sensationalism are not the audience we hope to have. They strongly objected to Shakespeare and Tang Xianzu going to Beijing to participate in the Ministry of Culture's performance. They believed that this would make a guiding mistake. They still supported the Zhejiangwu opera troupe to go to Beijing. The opinions of the two groups can be said to be at a stalemate, but comparatively speaking, those who support Shakespeare and Tang Xianzu, both the judges and the relevant leaders, are relatively young. Naturally, their positions have relatively lower say. In addition, in terms of the levels of the two performance groups, one is a provincial troupe and the other is a county-level troupe. In terms of the influence of the troops themselves, they are not at the same level. Some judges have already said to Feng Logui helplessly, "Captain Feng, we have tried our best, but there is no way. The decision-making power is not in our hands. If this show cannot go to Beijing, we will also feel very sorry." This news not only made Feng Logui and others feel very depressed, but also had a great impact on the entire troupe, especially the young actors like Xiang Nan. Xiang Nan even cried at home. She asked Lao Tan, "Why?" She originally thought that as long as I have worked hard and paid, and I will be rewarded. I didn't expect that today's society is so complicated, and hard work alone is useless. Lao Tan looked at his granddaughter and didn't know what to say. Not only in today's society, which society is not like this. It is impossible to have absolute fairness. Sun Jin, the deputy mayor in charge of culture, education, and health in Yongcheng City, heard the news and became anxious. She and Ding Begu made a special trip to Hangzhou to find Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen and told them that we were going to the provincial cultural. You should also think of ways to fight for it. You know, when we go to fight for it, they are definitely fighting for it in Jinhua. This alone is definitely not enough. Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen both knew what Sun Jin meant. They went to the provincial department of culture to fight for it. Although Yongcheng is a city, it cannot be compared with Jinhua. Yongcheng is a county-level city, while Jinhua is a prefecture-level city. The main thing is the Zhejiangwu Opera Troupe, which is a unit under the dual leadership of the Provincial Department of Culture and Jinhua City. It is said that the name will soon be changed to Zhejiangwu Opera Art Research Institute, and there will also be a China Wu Theater under the institute. It can be imagined how difficult it is to compete with such a unit. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, "I guess it would be difficult if we only compete with others from within. We are not in the same weight class." At this time, the quality of the program itself comes second. Other factors should affect the final decision. We still have to create pressure from the outside. How to create pressure? Sun Jin asked. "How about we go to Shanghai to perform for 3 days, Zhang Chen said, "and then invite more media and experts to watch. If it causes a sensation in Shanghai, does it mean that the province also has to think more about it?" "Okay, I think Zhang Chen's idea is okay," Sun Jin said. "Why go to Shanghai instead of Beijing?" Ding Begu asked. "If we go to Beijing and attract too much attention, is it necessary to go again next year?" Zhang Chen said, "You have already become famous once in Beijing, and you want to become famous again." "Yes, what everyone is competing for now is the quota to go to Beijing. If we have already been to Beijing, then people will just use this as an excuse to think that there is no need to go again." Sun Jin agreed with Zhang Chen's idea. Ding Begu and Tan Shahen both nodded and agreed to do this. "Okay, then let's split up and use all our strength," Sun Jin said. Zhang Chen agreed, "We will arrange the performance. After the performance in Shanghai, we will hold a seminar in Hangzhou and invite some experts in Hangzhou to come over. After the speculation in Shanghai, we will come to Hangzhou to speculate again once." "Yes, this seminar in Hangzhou will be held in the name of our Yongcheng city government, and you, Lao Ding, will be responsible for it, Sun Jin said. Ding Begu said yes. Zhang Chen, Tan Shahan, and the others immediately took action. Zhang Chen temporarily transferred Wen Wen to Shanghai and told Wen Wen that you should do your best to invite all the media and experts you can. Wen Wen asked, is it possible to do movie reviews? I know a lot of people in the film industry. Okay, as long as he is famous and can publish articles in the media, it doesn't matter what he does, Zhang Chen said. That's okay, it's up to me, Wen Wen said. By the way, Wen Wen, we will invite some celebrities and let them go to the theater. I understand, this will have a sensational effect, Wen Wen said. Zhang Chen smiled and said, clever. Zhang Chen called Lu Qing again and asked her to help invite some celebrities. Lu Qing also agreed. Lu Qing said, Brother Zhang, have you forgotten that you are also a celebrity? Why don't you come out at this time? Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment and said, okay, come out of the mountain and be willing to be killed. At that time, I will give you an exclusive interview, and you can talk specifically about Wu Opera, Lu Qing said. I think this must be very attractive. Zhang Chen said yes. Zhang Chen asked Xiaomi to help contact a theater that could perform. What are your requirements? Xiaomi asked. You don't have to think about the cost. A higher grade theater will do, Zhang Chen said. Is the higher the better? Xiaomi asked. Zhang Chen said yes, the higher, the higher. When Xiaomi called and told Zhang Chen that it had been implemented, Zhang Chen was still shocked. Xiaomi and Zhang Chen said that the Shanghai Grand Theater happens to have a slot next week and they can temporarily insert the performance for 3 days. Shanghai Grand Theater? Xiaomi, are you kidding me? Zhang Chen shouted. Mr. Zhang, isn't it good enough? If it's any better, I can't remember it, Xiaomi said. Zhang Chen laughed loudly, it's great. I was scared. I didn't expect it to be the Shanghai Grand Theater. The Shanghai Grand Theater is the best international high-level comprehensive theater in Shanghai. From the 3 tenors Pavarotti, Domingo, and Carreras to the 4 major European opera schools, they have all performed here. There are also world-class art troupes such as the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra, Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra, Royal Opera House, Paris National Opera, Bolshoi Theatre, Mariinsky Theatre, La Scala Opera House, and many well-known artists at home and abroad. It has brought countless unforgettable moments to the audience on this stage. Being able to perform at the Shanghai Grand Theater is an amazing achievement in itself. Mr. Zhang, can we do the Shanghai Grand Theater? Xiaomi asked. Okay, that's great, Zhang Chen said to Xiaomi on the phone. Thank you Tin Soldier for the tip. Thank you to Big Time Traveler, Blue Imagination, Book Friends 201708182135179119, Fang L, Pai Wuzun, and Xiao Shen Nian Fang 48 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.